The year is 2000. A little over a year has passed since Hunter x Hunter started, and things were looking bright. Very bright. So far it seemed like this was just a show about a nature-loving kid with a fishing rod who wanted to find his dad and base his life around the power of friendship and exploration, but then things got dark. Gone were the episodes that had a breezy, nostalgic 90s alternative opening. Up until this point, Hunter x Hunter was very much your standard Saturday morning shonen, with a bright color palette and a lovable quartet of a bunch of dudes just being bros. But then we got to the Yorkshin arc. Just imagine a 10-year-old kid hearing those squealing, grungy, dissonant opening guitar riffs, with a noticeable difference in the color palette and overall atmosphere. This opening is pretty much perfect, and I'm going to do my best to back up my opinion with some rock-solid facts that are definitely not subjective. It's been over 20 years, and it still hasn't a right to go this hard. As most vintage anime enjoyers know, the 90s had a very distinct style. Beyond the fact that most shows were hand-drawn on cells, rather than being produced on a digital software, the overall anatomy and character designs were quite different. The jaws were pointed, and the eyes had a much more serious and mature aesthetic. The character who perfectly exemplifies this is none other than the main character of the show, Kurapika. This man actually pretty much became the main focus of the show in this arc, in both the 1999 and 2011 arc, which is kind of crazy. Before this, there was the Hunter exam arc and Heaven's Arena arc, which featured Gon, Killua, Leorio, and Kurapika, but through the single opening, the focus is shifted to Kurapika's sweet, sweet revenge. This opening masterfully subverts any expectations that one may have had with the show in the first two arcs. With the dark city and streetlights, it almost feels like the anime was going in a neo-noir direction, which actually fits the mood quite well. Kurapika channeled his inner Batman and a poetic act of vengeance for the Kurta clan. Kazuhiro Furuhashi is a name that has become a lot more spoken of in 2022. A quick search will show you that he directed Spy A Family from this year. Spy Family? Spy X Family? Who really knows? But look deeper and you'll find that he also had an impressive lineup of shows in the 90s. He not only directed Hunter x Hunter 1999, but he also directed Rurouni Kenshin and one of my all-time favorite OVAs, Suiyokuhen, or Trust and Betrayal. To say the choreography in the battles is masterful would just not be doing it justice. You truly have to watch all 4 episodes to witness just how beautiful Japanese animation can truly be. What I think he's excellent at is capturing the quiet moments. These moments in between that would usually be filled with a hype over the top shonen battle where I'm the main character who's going to be a hero and save everyone, mumbo jumbo dialogue, but instead, he opts for a serene ambience that really puts you in Kenshin's shoes. What does it mean to take someone's life, and what are the moral implications that come with it? These are the messages that are portrayed in those quiet moments, and this is the style that he carried over when he took the role of directing Hunter x Hunter in the fall of 1999. Is this even still the same show? Where's Gon? Where's Killua? Where's Leorio? This is a shonen anime, right? Maybe? I don't know. We have the Phantom trope in a bleak and grimy backdrop. We then see the head honcho, Mr. Crollo Lucifer, member number 0 of the Phantom trope, with a solemn and chilling smile. There's a glowing purple inverted cross overlapped with Kurapika's face and his radiating scarlet eyes. This is an amazing display of their dynamic. Rather than seeing Crollo's face, we see his back. He's an enigma, someone that can't be identified. And then we have this next shot that is just brilliant. Kurapika standing on the street with a purple moon and Kurapika's chains extending towards him. The building lights are then seen lighting up in a dark and gritty city, again giving this neo-noir Gotham tone. Just as we thought the main protag had vanished, we're greeted with some familiar faces. Gon, Killua, and Leorio finally show up on the screen after 30 seconds. 30 seconds? That's just crazy to me. They not only shifted the tone from a bright to a dark tone, but they also shifted the entire focus onto a brand new cast. Up until this point, Gon was the mascot for the anime, but in one opening, they managed to completely change that. Going on, we see some other new characters with Melody and Neo, followed by some other familiar faces with Hisoka, Zeno, and Sova. Then we're given one of my favorite shots of all time. We see Crollo with his eyes closed, shifting from his coat into his suit preparing to conduct the madness in York New from the skyscraper. There's this sense of madness as he swings his arm to an invisible orchestra as his coat and hair are rustled by the wind. Then we have the moment that made me make this video. The smoothest, most well-crafted sequence I've ever had the privilege of laying my eyes on. We see Kurapika's heart being wrapped by his chains, followed by him ripping his topcoat off to whip his chain to the purple moon stained with blood, and the phantom trope spider insignia printed on it. The choreography is just too heckin' good. There's this constant contrast between Chrollo's cool blue aura and Kurapika's flaming red atmosphere. The color palette they decided to use in this opening just oozes so much darkness and grit that really puts you in the atmosphere of somewhere like New York City or Gotham. I mean, Yorkshin, get it? This metaphor represented by colors for both characters' attitudes and personalities are excellently portrayed in every inch of this opening. Every time I see this sequence, I can't help but think of Castlevania and imagine Trevor ripping his whip to Kingdom Come. There's almost a vampire hunter aspect in Kurapika's anger, his rage. They truly don't make him like they used to. This opening is so good. Gone are the days where you'd have a grungy or a punk rock opening like this opening or Tell Me Why from Berserk. Things have just changed. We no longer view anime on CRT TVs or in a 4:3 aspect ratio, and as it stands, the production is done digitally rather than on an analog format like being drawn on cells. But I'd say that's okay. I wouldn't want this era to be replicated or copied. You can upscale and remaster cell-based anime like Neon Genesis Evangelion and make them 1080p to give them better definition with higher resolutions, but that 4:3 aspect ratio will always be there with that recognizable pillar box or two black rectangles. It may seem like a small thing, but it's such a unique charm to this era of anime and really television as a whole. It's also a bummer since this anime isn't on any legal streaming platform, so you really do have to be a pirate for this one. Like Berserk 1997 and Monster, no streaming service currently has the license. Until now, that is. This opening shows Kurapika's fury and anger in an unfiltered way that's very different from the 2011 adaptation. And I think that's amazing in an age where openings are simply skipped and viewed as useless time that could be spent on actually watching the anime. Much like another all-time favorite opening of mine that I will definitely be discussing in the near future, Fullmetal Alchemist 2003's fourth opening brilliantly shows how nuanced and masterful an opening can really be. So basically, please don't skip openings. Peace.